Hi.
It doesn't work.
And we are now back again.
Hooray!
Hooray! I don't remember. We didn't need the theme music.
Now
Yeah.
back to dating tips with King.
King,
Yes.
what do you have for us?
Yeah, but what is the best place to hide a human body?
And remember, I'm low on chloroform, so...
The best place to hide a human body is on top of a roof.
A roof
Now,
of
yes.
your own house.
Any roof. Just as long as it's on top. Because they're going to look in the trash cans, rivers, basements, all the obvious places to put them. But if you put them on top of a house, they'll never suspect it.
What if they look at it?
Put it in a good place on top of the house. What kind of house do you have?
Let's see. Well, I live in an apartment, but, I'm thinking...
Mine's made of corn.
Put them inside the husk of your house, then.
No, that ruins it.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Maybe during Christmas, when you have decorations up there anyway, maybe dress it as Santa Claus or a reindeer.
Well, last year I had him as Easter Bunny.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say a nativity scene, but...
Oh, that's good, too.
Baby Jesus.
That's not baby Jesus. It's a head. All right.
Okay.
Question.
And I wonder, I wonder what this guy's theme is. Do you think J.T. Crow is better at writing the Teen Titans than the predictable writer Jeff Johns? You guys probably can't answer this.
I can't. I've never read any of this. Oh, I actually did read a little bit of Jeff Johns' run on Titans early on.
And you don't know the guy writing it now. So.
No, I don't. So I only have on Jeff Johns, who I think did a good job.
And now I'm going to have to answer all these because these are all Jeff Johns related questions. I don't think he's as great as Johns. And by the way, Proto Alex, thank you for keep sending me the question of when are you going to answer my predictable questions on your predictable Q&A, you predictable moron. To show other people have respect for me.
So you think he's predictable and a moron, but he's still sending you questions? That's commitment.
I know. You gotta love the fans.
Wow.
Okay, his next question. Do you think the Flash storyline, Flashpoint, will be the speedster version of Sinestro Corps War? That depends. I don't think Sinestro Corps War had 15 minis!
I counted it, didn't.
I was going to ask you where this came from.
They came from the beyond.
You can have some if you want. Well then, I want those.
Anyway, do you think Jeff Johns needs to cool down on these crossovers, or should he keep making more predictable crossovers?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Manos, go ahead.
What about it?
Do you think Jeff Johns
Do you
should
think
cool
Jeff
down on the
Johns should stop
crossovers?
writing crossovers?
Or take a break.
Yeah,
I'll agree on taking a break.
I don't think stop altogether.
Because I think as far as crossovers go, he's really good at them.
Hey, dude,
Yeah,
what's the name
everything
of this guy?
fits together.
Proto Alex.
Proto Alex, why are all your questions stupid and predictable?
No, they're not stupid. That was a good question. I like that question.
I knew you were going to ask that.
Apparently, Manos is a really cliched villain.
The thing is, Manos,
Yeah.
like, I know you haven't been reading Brightest Day because you didn't love Blackest Night, but, like, Brightest Day has turned me around a little bit on the crossover thing.
Okay.
Like, I'm just saying, I really liked it. Like, just as far as, Jeff Johns is good at writing. Having said that, I mean, Flash is still better, so...
I'll agree with you on that. Because the thing is, there's a lot of other stories in Brightest Day, and some of them have been the greatest.
It's been like a maxi series.
It is a maxi series. It's ending...
it doesn't strike me as a crossover, really.
Yeah, it's not. It's not at all.
Well, okay, that's true.
You can even make an argument that it's a teen book.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Never mind. Forget what I said.
Okay, let's see. Next question. This one's going to be hard. Your favorite comic book writer and artist team?
Ooh.
Paul Dini and Gillen March.
That's a good team.
Once I saw that, I didn't need to see any other awesome teams.
I to go on with the predictable questions we just got, Jeff Johns and Ivan Reis. Anytime they do anything, I'll read it.
This is a little hard to answer because I don't know, artists and writers don't seem to stay that long on books anymore. It's hard to really get a cohesive.
Well, try and think of one that if you could see them work together again.
Oh,
right now.
Grant Morrison and Todd McFarlane.
They've been a team.
Well, Grant Morrison did briefly like 2 or 3 books in a row on Spawn early on, like within the
I wouldn't know that.
and boy, they were good. But anyway, that was when we first learned about psychoplasm.
Yeah. I loved,
and we all lived better lives because we discovered that.
I did.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I loved Roger Stern and John Romita Jr. on Spider-Man back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They were awesome. That was an amazing team. Let's see. Roger Stern, I think, was the creator of Hobgoblin, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I also, let's see. Well, darn. Peter David and Gary Frank, I'd love to see get back together again.
Oh, also Jeff Johns and Gary Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat up anything they do. I'll eat anything up that Gary Frank does in general.
I was a huge fan of Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogle when they used to do Batman Detective Comics. Loved it!
And King, you got anything?
I would like to see Brian K. Vaughan and Pia Guerra do another series together, or Brian K. Vaughan and Nico Henrici do another one together.
I want to see Brian K. Vaughan clone himself and they could work on a book together. It'd be awesome. And
fuck you.
What's something he would say if he met Brian K. Vaughan? Because he would want to. Okay, next question. I just heard that Monsters, Inc. got turned into a manga.
What?
Wow, that's trippy. That's really trippy.
Are there any movies you would want to see manganized?
Well, now that I have that in my head, wow.
Dang. That really, I'm going to see if that exists. I'd love that movie.
I'd like to see the Dick Tracy manga.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Toy Story manga.
King, I hate you. You actually took what I thought of. Because I thought of this when this question came in like weeks ago, and I thought of like Toy Story manga just because he was already on Pixar movies. I don't know.
All right, Manos.
Yeah, what?
What do you pick?
Pick what?
Just
Okay, let me read the question.
I walked out for a second to get something. What's up?
Apparently, Monsters, Inc. got turned into a manga. Are there any movies that you would like to see manganized?
Hard Boiled.
I would like to... Actually, I want to see any movie that's taken uber seriously and then have someone who loves that movie watch these deformed anime characters just to see their reaction.
Pulp Fiction, the manga.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Adam West Batman.
Well, there was Bat manga.
Yeah,
but
but I
wasn't
mean, like, that
specifically
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And is Eric going to be on any more adventures that will stop him from doing the show? Well, he's gone now, so yes. He's on an endless, unless he...
Well, yeah, he's on tour in his
He's on
Venice
tour.
tour.
And when he's done with Lady Gaga, he's moving on to Kesha.
Oh, don't. No, then I'll lose respect for Eric.
Oh, but you haven't already with the Lady Gaga thing.
I'll lose more respect for Eric.
Well, the last person he's working with is Justin Bieber, so...
Shh. Okay, my sister didn't hear that. We're safe.
Why, does she have Bieber fever?
Yes, and we need to take her to a vet.
Yeah.
Get that fixed.
And by the way, I don't call her Kesha. I call her Key $, just because I refuse to say that the frickin' $sign's an S. So retarded. You're a white woman. You can't do something rappers do.
I'm too old to have Bieber fever. I'm immune.
I'm too straight.
Yeah,
I'm sane.
I've had Bieber fever.
How did that go?
That should have been obvious, but it wasn't somehow. And yeah.
How did that concert go?
It was great show.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next
Did
question.
Mike
It was
host
it went 6 hours.
Did Mike or Joel host it?
Now this isn't making sense.
When does anything we said make sense?
Next question.
Okay, by Deadpool Joker. Which is, in your opinion, the worst comic ever?
What'd you say?
What is the worst comic ever, in your opinion?
Oh. I can never answer this. Like,
There's this one from Malibu Comics that I read when I was a kid that I didn't like, but I don't remember what the name of it was.
While you're thinking, Rob Liefeld's Blood Wolf was really bad.
yeah, I've heard you talk about that.
That is amazing. I remember being mad that not only was it made, but somebody got paid to produce this thing.
There was money exchanged, and someone got to keep it.
Off that. It was really bad.
I'm gonna go with one that's kind of easy to point out now. Cry for Justice was god awful. The art's the only redeeming thing about it, and that guy doesn't even do the whole damn book. And the guys who fill in for him don't look a damn thing like him, but they try so hard.
There was recently a fill-in issue of Superman that I just absolutely hated.
Oh, I think I remember you talking about that.
It was it was bad. I don't even want to talk about it.
You guys can keep talking. This will only take me a minute. I gotta go feed my dog.
Are you going to still record while you go out of the room and feed your dog?
Yes.
Okay, well, we don't...
Because I figure this conversation will last a few minutes.
We don't know what question to answer.
All right,
Let's keep going on this question.
Here,
I was done.
Type a question and go feed your dog.
Hold on.
Okay.
If you could run Marvel Comics, what would you do first? There, feed on that for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Manus, I know this is one that you really want to do.
Sure. Well, I mean, outside of the obvious reversing Brand New Day, have they reversed M Day yet?
No. Well, I don't know if they have or not.
I actually wonder if that's just as big of a mistake.
Yeah.
Frankly, I enjoyed the fact that there was this race of mutants in the Marvel universe because there were so many things you could do as social commentary with them. But now, since there's only a few hundred, you can't really do it anymore.
Yeah, and then they've tried to do other things that are identical to the mutant thing, and I'm just like, well, why'd you do M-Day then? Did you read any of? Well, I mean, not that there's any reason to.
I'm back.
Did you read any of the? What was it called? Frankencastle.
Oh, I did.
Frankencastle had this race of monsters underground, and they were like mutants. The whole thing was just this whole social commentary about how people didn't respect them, and they had to be underground and yada yada. I was like, well, then what was the point of the M Day? Because you got these monsters. I don't understand.
Not to mention, halfway through, I thought it was a subplot for Futurama.
And I didn't understand what the difference was between monsters and mutants. I was like, how are you making this distinction?
I'm sorry, I just kind of there were times where I just had to shut my brain off. I'm watching a Frankenstein Punisher.
Yeah, I didn't
team up with a group of monsters. This is awesome if you don't think. And
all I can say is I'm glad I borrowed those from Vince and I didn't actually purchase them.
Well, there was actually a time where my friend, he loved it more than I did, and the hardcover was there on the shelf, and he had $100, which all my friends are worse than me when it comes to holding on to money, and he almost bought it, but I'm like, think about this. You will have that on your shelf, and someday it's going to look back at you and say, you're a moron and you paid $40 for a Frankenstein Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
If I ran Marvel, I'd lower the price of their books.
Yes.
Hold on, we're back. Well, actually, there's a thing that me and Manos will cover when we do news, because apparently they're going to stay at $2.99, but they're going to reduce the page count to 20 pages.
That's a price raise.
They had talked about that, but yeah, that's the same thing as a price raise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, what's worse than that though? At my job, we sell canisters of coffee, and they raised the price of the canisters of coffee, but they're now putting less coffee in it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're doing that at like a cafe place a bunch of my friends work at. And the thing is, one of them tried to sneak more in, and they got fired.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just really respected what DC did because they when they made a big deal out of lowering it to $2.99, they went on record to say, just so you know, we realize that we can't keep our readers by raising prices. It doesn't make sense. And Marvel apparently just doesn't have any business sense.
Well, no, I think they have plenty of business sense because they're keeping it at $2.99, and they're going to be saving money doing this. But the only thing the people that buy the comics that are going to be looking at is the $2.99. They're not going to look at the page number.
It's
at
not
least
going
not right away.
It's not going to get me to buy more. It's not going to get me to buy more books from them, though.
And you also got to factor in that. Do you really need, like, the people who really want to read it month to month, who want to pay, the extra buck if they have to? So it's just a thing of, are people going to be willing to pay for it if they want to read what's going on? That made no sense, I'm guessing, from your silence.
Well, actually technically it'll still make trade shorter too, though.
Oh yeah, because let's see. I have a trade that's only 4 issues long, and it costs me $20.
They're not going to suddenly, wait and add an extra issue to the trade. It's still going to be 4 or 5 issues of trade.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be bad all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you've lost 8 to 10 pages out of your trade.
Not unless they make the stories longer.
For trade?
Yeah.
That would be really awful. So it's like Thanos. So basically, what you're saying is they've dropped it 20 instead of 22, but it isn't that they wrote fewer pages. They just left a couple random ones out.
I can describe Mark Millar's Fantastic Four run like that. There are pages missing somehow.
You have no idea which ones they took out. But or it's even worse. It just skips from page 7 to 9.
Have you ever seen Have you ever seen bad 50s B movies with the way they used to pad those movies?
Yes.
Like they'd land on a different planet and they'd walk, and then they'd walk, and then they'd walk.
And then they'd skip and then go back to walking.
Look at that strange monster over there. Then they'd walk over to it. And it'd be like 20 minutes of film of them walking.
No dramatic music. It's just silence or whistling.
Dramatic music, which would actually make it funnier. You'd be walking, just walking like across a field, and then dun dun dun. It's like I'm seeing a guy walking across the field.
Okay, so you guys want to move on to the next question?
Well, actually, can I say one thing real fast?
Sure.
I was going to say if I took over Marvel, I would probably stop treating DC like a giant negative rival.
That's a great point.
And go back to doing crossover
really,
stuff again.
Because there's a lot of things that Quesada's done that I've liked, but you know what? One of the things I dislike the most is the negativity. And he said that was one of the things he wanted to bring back to DC Marvel was the rivalry. And you know what?
Why?
It's like, wait.
What do you mean bring it back? When did they ever have that? They were always friendly rivals.
Yeah, and also it was friendly rivalry. I mean, Stan Lee wouldn't have done like that Deadpool stunt.
No.
That they did last year. He had a little more class than that.
Well, I remember I was listening to an interview with Stan Lee, and he was actually saying that, while he's working at Marvel, he's constantly talking about business with his friends over at DC.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand, why wouldn't Quesada want to be like that, the same person? Like, if you're going to run Marvel, run it like the guy who put it all together.
If I remember right, the way Stan Lee always talked about it, he didn't think there were Marvel fans and DC fans. He thought most of the fans were reading both.
Oh, my giant trade collection proves you wrong. I keep it even. I got even amount of both.
But you're talking a couple generations before you, Duke.
Yeah. I know. I'm an ignorant teenager.
Well, I don't know. The 80s specifically, it was a little more hardcore. It was the Coke and Pepsi thing.
That's true, but earlier than that, I don't think you had that really.
Which reminds me,
I don't know.
Sip of my Pepsi.
And I'm not saying Stanley's right or anything necessarily, but I don't know. And also, like I was that way. I mean, I always read both.
So you guys want to move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do
Sorry,
you guys watch?
just
Do you guys watch Doctor Who?
Yes.
I've started
Yes.
getting into it big time.
That's great.
Yeah. Me and my friends have parties where we just watch episodes. We only watch new stuff though. We, for some reason, won't watch the old stuff because
For
we're
science
ignorant
fiction right
teenagers.
now, there ain't nothing better.
Mm-hmm. Who are your favorite comedians?
Ooh.
At this very moment, Brian Regan.
Agreed.
I like Patton Oswalt a lot.
Agreed.
Uh,
I like Ricky Gervais.
I like Chris Rock a lot. And
One of my favorites is Christopher Titus.
let's see. I used to be a big George Carlin fan, Bill Hicks fan. Let's see. I like Janine Garofalo a lot, and who else?
Didn't you once say you like Wanda Sykes?
Yeah, Wanda Sykes is pretty good.
Okay, next one. What was the best movie you saw in 2010?
Inception.
Toy Story 3.
I liked both of those.
Which one
I'm
was
actually
better?
going to do a video about this, so I'm going to not answer.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
The worst film I've seen 2010 was Way of the Warrior.
Last Airbender.
I didn't see that. I knew that was going to be a piece of shit.
My friend begged me to go. The sad part is, we kind of tried to hit on girls while we were there, and it worked. But the thing is, it was kind of hard to do that because, in the theater across from us, Twilight was playing.
Yeah.
And you know what kind of threw us off because it just seemed so odd. We saw two 40-year-old men walk into that theater.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And they sounded so psyched to see that movie. And we were just thrown off from life for 10 minutes.
Well, they probably just came out of like a time cave that they'd been stuck in for 20 years and heard, hey, there's a vampire movie playing.
They were lied to.
Maybe Christopher Lee will be in it.
If you ever see this like cave with like big bright neon lights on the outside, don't go in there because that's a time cave and you'll be stuck.
Why the hell is it in a movie theater? I'm so lost.
Don't go into the time cave.
In the movie theater.
Movie theater.
Like, what happened? We just went into this Charles Bronson movie, and we came out, and suddenly everything's different.
Okay. The next question. Which comic book super pet would you want as a pet? What super animal?
I guess Crypto. I mean, it's a dog.
That can fly.
I want Ace.
I want Dexstar, the Red Lantern. And have my aunt take care of him for me because that cat would probably, just raise all kinds of hell. And I'd be like, no, this cat would never do anything like that.
I too would want Crypto the Super Dog because he is the most badass dog I've ever seen. Like, I don't know if you guys read War of the Supermen, but he got stabbed with kryptonite. That was amazing.
Yes.
It looked like they were gonna maybe kill off Crypto the Super Dog.
That would just make everyone sad.
I have never been more sad to see a dog get stabbed in a comic book, but there it was.
Usually
What about
hilarious.
I started saying that, and then I was like, I can't think of any other point I've ever seen that. But I just mean, like, for a character that used to be played up for laughs, like, that was really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Cap, you just made me remember that issue of Brightest Day where Martian Manhunter shakes Superman with a chunk of kryptonite.
Oh, yeah.
In the neck, too. It's hilarious.
It's like, what are you doing?
Is this because you can't get a successful ongoing?
Yes, it is. Shut up.
Shut up and take the kryptonite.
In your neck.
It is my gift to you.
It's a suppository. Take it.
Okay,
No.
next one. Should Howard the Duck get a movie reboot?
Why
No.
are we still... No.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
I want to direct it,
No.
but I want to direct it and write it.
Thing is, we would all go see it because King would guilt trip us. Okay, oh
And
god.
then Cap would have to do a superhero rewind on it.
I still got to do a superhero rerun on the first one, and that's sad.
Yeah, does that technically count as a superhero film?
No, but, well, maybe sort of kind of. The thing is, there are other things that I've done that are in, like, that their original characters are in, like, mainline continuity of Marvel or DC that are not really considered superheroes, but I'm doing rewinds on them anyway. So, I mean, like, Punisher is not really a superhero, but I've done Punisher, so I guess I'm doing Howard the Duck. Like, I think on the same rights I have.
So, like, someday down the line, you're going to do Jonah Hex? Because I don't consider him a superhero, really.
No, but I probably will. And then Constantine I'll probably do.
Okay, now, all of you will have to work on this. What is Ultimate Cornman like?
Man, well, he's different from the original Cornman in that he's been brought more to the present, and we've written him in more of like a present-day kind of way.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm from the 60s.
I disagree. I disagree. I think Ultimate Cornman is exactly like regular Cornman, except he wears black leather.
Oh. Well, no, that's how we brought him up to date.
Yeah, there you go. You got the same character, except he's in black leather.
He's more modern because he wears black leather.
He'll make more pop culture references, and he'll be a dick.
As opposed to the original one, who's the nicest guy around.
Yeah.
By the way, they're talking about me.
20 issues in, they're going to kill him off, and then they're going to do a few issues of World Without a Cornman.
Every farmer in Nebraska is going to have a giant funeral. People from Kansas and Iowa will come by.
But they're not going to make a statue on the idea that there already is a statue, and it's all those fields of corn.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make a crop circle in the shape of his face. In the shape of his symbol, and keep it preserved.
Wow, the epic, infinite Cornman symbol that has been around and endured for eons.
Oh, we had to come to this funeral. We drove 100 miles from next door.
And then he comes back to life to destroy his ultimate rival, the Red Maze.
Well, of course, the aliens are pretty ticked.
The Red Maze,
King,
you're the only one who ever references Red Maze because you created him.
See, the aliens are not real happy because they had to fly light years just to make the crop circles. Like, why did we have to commute for this?
And then we can ask him what Mars is like, and we can get it ongoing and successful.
Go ahead.
Okay, what do you guys think of Final Crisis?
You know, I still haven't been able to bring myself to read it.
The thing is, it's not written like an event book, honestly.
Exactly, and I feel like I know everything I need to know, which is why I haven't read it.
That's the main flaw, that they pushed it as an event book, and it's not written to be one at all. And I liked it when it came out. I have not read it in trade, and I hear it
doesn't read well in trade. What people have told me is that it's just really non sequitur. Every couple pages, you're like, where am I? What's going on?
Mm-hmm. I think that's the method that Morrison was experimenting with in the story.
Hell?
Yeah.
And I don't.
Were you backing your car up?
Yeah. Is the popcorn ready?
Oh no, I'm getting a text message.
That's his arm.
Why does your text message sound like a big truck backing up?
Because I have horrible ringtones.
Okay.
On this stupid phone. Would you like to go to a movie tomorrow? I'll watch that later.
Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube audience, I'm glad you were part of that moment.
Well, you guys heard it. You might as well know what it said. Wait, I have to ask her what movie.
Manos, I think you were talking about something.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Cornman.
But yeah, I was talking about Morrison's attempt on Final Crisis. I remember him reading that he wanted to